Hi, Lisa. We can start now if you want.
Okay, great, brilliant. I was expecting loads of faces to come up, but no. So this is a really strange webinar for me because usually I like to have like a bit of interaction, but yeah, let's kick off. I feel like I'm talking at people, but please do engage into the Q&A box. That would really help me along because I don't want to feel like I'm talking at you. I like it to be audience participation is some of the best stuff. So a quick introduction to El Sarah and what it is and why I started it. So I was busy running health retreats, and that was kind of like my main focus. And one of the things I realized that other retreats didn't do was speak about hormonal health, because that was the thing that I used to see was the biggest issue for women over like a certain age, like 35 plus, really 37, getting older into their 40s, 50s, which was our largest cohort of customers. And every other retreat and competitor that I'd ever looked at was never ever discussing anything. It was kind of like, oh well, I'm here to lose weight, tone up, and I want to they used to kind of like put them on a really calorie restricted diet. They'd weigh them at the beginning of the week, and then they weigh them at the end of the week, and they make them train for 9 hours a day, and like they thought, yeah, hey, I've lost 5 pounds in a week, whatever. And I was like, well, it's completely unsustainable. No one can eat 800 calories a day and train for 8 hours a day. It's ridiculous. Plus, you're not getting down to the core issues of what's going on with these women. So I set up my own fabulous retreat. It was called the Life Lab, and I had a really brilliant team, but it was mainly focusing around education. So we spent as much time in the classroom as we did actually working out. And we did things like working out in different ways. Like it was more like Pilates based, like things that were like a lot lighter on the joints than just like, I don't know, doing burpees in a field. And we explained the why and what's happening to their joints and why they're getting inflammation, etc. And it was all to do with their hormonal balance. And I learned so much in that business. It was growing great guns, and then the big C happened, COVID happened, and I now couldn't run that business anymore. And I remember the day when I had to like refund about £70,000 out of my business account for everybody who'd booked on loads of retreats in the coming year, and I was gutted. And it was a lesson to never put all your eggs and income in one basket, which is now, well, as a business owner and an investor, I try and diversify as much as I possibly can. So this business, I thought, what can I do, like, during COVID? And also, like, all I could see at the time was obviously e-commerce was booming. And I didn't set out to make the golden pill at the time, but it was one Instagram message of one lady who was my retreat client who said, what can I do for my libido, Alyssa? And I was like, good question. I actually don't know, but let me go endeavor to find out the answers and see if there's anything that can help you. And she'd been taking antidepressants, and her libido was just non-existent. She loved her husband. She was just going through a bit of a bad patch. So I used to be a journalist as well, so I don't mind a bit of research. So I then sat there and went through a lot of clinical data and found a few ingredients, spoke to a herbal biologist, and just had a look at what could happen and try and increase that and help her out. And what I uncovered was never anything that I expected. It was kind of like, I didn't even realize how big a problem this was. And I was definitely not expecting this customer to ever ask me about it. And the more I looked into it and the Google data on it, it was getting Googled so many times, but women were not talking about this. They were thinking about it. They were probably going to bed thinking about it. They were probably, their partner's probably trying to touch them, and they were like, get off me. I'm not interested anymore. It was there conscious in their minds, but they were not really talking about it, apart from in little sections of the internet, like Mumsnet, where it was all anonymous, or Reddit, again, anonymous. And then Google data was telling me that sexless marriages was on the rise. Female libido was getting Googled a lot. And I thought maybe there's something in this. I don't know. So carried on with it. Anyway, I gave her kind of the rudimentary kind of ingredients that actually ended up being in the golden pill today. And that was kind of the problem that I was aiming to solve. I was like, okay, this is a problem. Female libido is not spoken about. This is like Middle England lady who's just completely, I would never have thought she would ask me about this. She is thinking about it. There's obviously loads of desire there. They want to be with their partners. this is a bigger issue. Let's shine a spotlight on it and genuinely try and help. So I got together with like a nutritionist that I used to work with on the retreat, and herbal biologists and formulators, etc. And that's where the journey of this business began. And kind of the ingredients that we picked are still ones that I stand by today. And the main two that are brilliant for like hormonal balance and increasing libido are ingredients called maca, which people might have heard of. It's often called as a superfood, and tribulus. Now, tribulus is traditionally given to men. In fact, I couldn't find any supplement that was ever given to a woman where it used tribulus, apart from a few studies. And these were like gold standard of studies, randomized, double blind, a lot, where they're given tribulus to post-menopausal women with sexual dysfunction. So this wasn't just like women who were just feeling a bit down or anything like that. These were like clinically diagnosed with a sexual dysfunction, and it had really increased their libido. So we spoke about how we could use it safely. And then I rang a manufacturer in the UK who was incredible. They make for like some of the biggest brands best brands, biggest brands in the UK. And they kind of like held my hand through the manufacturing process. And they were like, so what's the product you're making? I told them, and they were like, you're going to give Tribulus to women? And I was like, yeah, I am. And he was like, well, we've never seen that before. And I was like, I think I'm onto something here. So we ended up picking maca, tribulus, ginkgo, beetroot, and Siberian ginseng. And each one of those 5 ingredients has a specific role and why we picked it. So hormonal balance is a big one. And obviously there's a libido aspect to it. And that was kind of like my USP and the way we were going to do our marketing. But actually the beauty about adaptogens, and the clue is in the title, it kind of adapts. They adapt to your stressors, is they do more than one thing. I've got all my notes here, by the way. I thought this was like, I thought this was a bit more interactive today, but anyway, so if I'm reading off a sheet, like, ignore me. But yeah, so maca, I don't know if anybody's heard of maca. If you want to like write something in the comments, please go ahead. Or used it or had it or tried it or put it in smoothies or whatever. But it's an adaptogen that's native to Peru. And one of its main jobs is it works on the HP axis. So it doesn't increase your like estrogen, but what it does do is work on that HP axis to try and, what's the mechanism? To try and help you overcome. So it's not like a phytoestrogen. So this is why people say, can I take it if I've had breast cancer? Well, yes, you can, because it's not estrogenic. But what it can do is really temper hot flushes, really raise libido, and really give you that kind of energy boost in the morning. And it's fabulous, fabulous ingredient. And then tribulus in there, like I mentioned about libido, they give it to a lot of men. Like tribulus is amazing for men, and you will often find it in men's gym stacks. So you find it in like bodybuilder stacks because it's really good for giving that extra like 20, 30% in the gym. I know that when I go to the gym and I'm trying to lift heavy, my PT he'll ask me if I've had it or if I haven't. And because I can get an extra 20, 30% out of myself. And it's like noticeably stronger on those days. So yeah, it's often misunderstood as a men's supplement. Even my manufacturer, who makes for a great number of supplement brands, was shocked that I was going to give it to women. But in women, it supports your DHEA levels and your testosterone levels. So it doesn't give you testosterone, but what it does do is kind of free up the testosterone that you have got. So you've got some that's called your free testosterone levels and your sex hormone binding globulin. So it allows more of that free testosterone to get into the bloodstream. That's why if you're in the gym, bang, it's there, it's ready to use. And it can help with like motivation, muscle tone, energy, libido. I think it's absolutely amazing. I absolutely love it. And I think more women should be taking it. Next in there, one of the biggest things that women were telling me was the brain fog aspect. And I know you guys are all dentists. You've got a high pressured, really stressful job where you're like back to back to back all day. And ginkgo was the one that we picked to kind of alleviate that brain fog. Its one and only job really is to get blood flowing to your extremities. So one, we wanted obviously to raise libido. So we want to get blood around the body because that certainly helps. But brain fog was a huge one. And I remember, I think it was on a Diary of a CEO podcast recently, and there was a guy on there, a neuroscientist called Daniel Harmon, and he said, and he's like, he's a neurologist, a neuroscientist, and he's seen like over 2,000 brains in his lifetime. He said the prettiest brains I've ever seen take ginkgo, and that's one of the reasons we put it in there. The blood flow that it creates is incredible. Not only that, it's a vasodilator as well. So again, if you want more energy, you're feeling fatigued, everything like that, you want your blood vessels to be opened up and you want to be feeling great. It supports focus, memory, mental performance, particularly under stress. So yeah, if you feel, I don't know, if you guys are in practice and you're feeling that kind of like fatigue or mental fog or anything like that, then it can certainly help that. The next ingredient we picked was Siberian ginseng. So this is like energy without the crash. It's like having a coffee, but without that 3 p.m. like slump. Different from other ginsengs, like Panax ginseng is often used in a lot of products. Me personally, I find it makes me too aggressive. Great if you're going boxing or you're doing anything like that, or you want to have a challenging situation, but this isn't something I would want to take every day, daily. Siberian ginseng just doesn't have that. It supports your adrenal system, which is key for like that cortisol regulation. So what it does, it kind of like lets you like have your energy, but it doesn't let you go too far. And one of the things that happens when you become menopausal as well is your cortisol levels go a bit out of whack. This can help really regulate that, which in turn can regulate your stress levels, regulate, and then, you know, I don't know if you've ever heard the term like menobelly. That can be caused by like a lot of cortisol. So it can really help reduce that too. Improves resilience to emotional stress. And it's been really known to be fantastic for stamina and endurance. And again, if you are somebody who works out, goes to the gym, or you just like having a really hard day in work and practice or whatever, it's fantastic for that. And then last but not least, one of my favorite ingredients, you should eat it, you should take it in an extract, and we use an extract, and it's beetroot. Sounds like a humble ingredient, but it's absolutely amazing for nitric oxide and getting that into your body. It dilates all your blood vessels, it improves oxygen delivery. And if you're somebody who bleeds heavily while you're having periods, PMS, PMDD, anything like that, it's incredible for that. It also helps energy production, circulation. And again, remember, the whole point of this product was kind of raise libido and we're going to feel good. We want to get that blood flowing around the body, down to extremities everywhere, including down there. Think of it as like, you know, your plant-based, the Viagra, essentially. So it's not just one ingredient in the golden pill that does the heavy lifting. It's all of them together working together. It's like a symphony. So you've got the hormonal regulation, the libido support, the brain fog support. And not only that, I wanted it to be a product that really worked, that we could stand behind and really be proud of. So we didn't just pick whispers of ingredients, because I know there's a lot of supplement companies out there that like to do the fairy dust approach and just put something in there for a net label claim so you can say this does X, Y, and Z. And I've never been one for that approach. So we used clinical data to ascertain our dosages. So, you know, that it works. If it says in a double, like, you know, randomized, double-blind controlled study that it worked at this level, then that's the one we used. And obviously we made it safe and we got amazing extract. We don't use fillers. We don't use extracts or additives. And then recently we've just changed our capsule shell. So it used to be shiny gold. I actually haven't got any next to me right now. They're all over there. It used to be shiny gold pill, and now it is a matte gold pill. And everyone was like, why have you changed? And the reason I changed is because for the last 2 years, I've been trying in R&D to try and dye the capsule shell with another active ingredient. And we've tried it with loads of different things. We tried it with saffron, but it became too expensive. We tried it with all kinds of other flowers, carrageen, all kinds. And we actually settled on B2. riboflavin. So we now, our signature golden color is not only gold, but it also enhances the product. And I thought that was absolutely a stroke of genius. And some of my customers pushed back a bit because we weren't making it shiny gold anymore. But I was like, when I explained why we'd done it, and now you've got B2 in there, which supports energy levels. I mean, you need B2 to essentially function every day. You need it. So that's the golden pill. That's our hero product. Yeah, and it's been quite a ride. I mean, we launched it 4 years ago. And it's been going from strength to strength. And I think that for me, like the biggest validation is that we've had over 100,000 customers. We have some of the strongest reviews I've ever seen of any brand in my life on Trustpilot, which is an independent, regulated trust platform where you leave reviews. And we're really proud of the work that we do. We're not here to hoodwink anyone. We're not here to kind of, I don't know, for want of a better words, put crap in a bag and sell it. I really, really want to do the best. If the product is right for you, we'll tell you. If there's any issues, we'll tell you that too. We're saying the product's not right for you at the moment. We really try and run our business ethically, compliantly, because I'm somebody who really wants tighter regulations in the supplement industry. I see some absolutely outrageous behavior going on. One example is one of our competitors. I was filming a founder story not too long ago in a studio in Manchester. One of our competitors, and I didn't know at the time, but I was asking the boys who were filming, I was like, who's that over there? I won't say the name. And they said, oh, it's XYZ business. And I was like, oh, right, okay. And I was like, what are they filming? They went, oh, well, they've just brought out a fertility supplement. So I said, oh, is that one of their doctors? They went, no, it's an actor in a white coat. And I was like, an actor in a white coat? Like, not only is that absolutely against the rules for the ASA, but that is misrepresentation. And also, you can't be, messing around with people's fertility like that. So, and that was just like one example of things that I've seen in the supplement industry that drives me wild, because I feel as a business, we are completely compliant with the MHRA, the ASA, trading standards, etc. And I feel like there's not many out there. And I hate women getting preyed on. I see outrageous marketing all the time. I mean, there's one company in particular, they're an Australian brand. You've probably been fed all of their ads, and I nearly posted about it last night, and I thought, you know what, I'm not getting into this dogfight. It's literally, they'll show an AI woman who is a bit larger on one side and another one that's like slimmer on this side, and it's like 11 days. This can be you in 11 days by taking this supplement. And I'm like, that is absolutely outrageous on so many levels. And if I had the time, I would just spend all day sending it to the ASA, but here we are. So that's really important, that you know that we as a business are really trying to fight the good fight. And the last thing I want is for women to be buying nonsense, and I really rail against that. We also launched late last year, a magnesium. I don't know if anybody knows anything about magnesium, but apart from the golden pill, everybody says, what do you take? And I take a whole host of other supplements, but my number one, if I was like, everyone said, well, what would you like? You can only take one supplement for the rest of your life. What would it be? And it would be magnesium. And I've been a huge fan of magnesium for ages. And I don't know if any of you have seen Clarkson's Farm, but when they tested his soil, there's one episode where they tested his soil and it came back and he had great soil apart from one thing, and it was magnesium. Now that is par for the course all over the country and in most farming, because we are just over farming and there's just not enough magnesium in the soil anymore. So therefore it cannot get into your food. There must be some in there, otherwise it wouldn't be green, but it's not in a level that we can absorb it very well. So I always think it's a really good idea to take a magnesium. Now, if you want to take magnesium, and there's lots out there, magnesium citrate or oxide or stearate or glycinate, threonate, there's loads of different versions. But the best, the most absorbable, bioavailable, most gentle, the best is magnesium bisglycinate. And I take all of our products. So therefore I am customer number one. So when we were designing and formulating the magnesium, I was like, okay, so what do I want? And we made it magnesium bisglycinate. It's 300 milligrams. And not only that, we added the active form of B6, which is P5P, which really helps it. It's synergistically, it's beautiful, it works really well together, and it really makes the magnesium more absorbable. But not only that, and I don't know if any of you know what liposomal means, but we made it into a liposomal form. So if you don't know, for anybody who doesn't know what liposomal means, liposomes are kind of protect the nutrient as they're going through the body, because one of the biggest things is bioavailability. And I like women, if they're going to spend money with me, to get bang for your buck. So most nutrients get burnt up by the stomach acid unless they're in a high enough dose that it can actually work effectively. It's a therapeutic dose. So with liposomes, imagine like a jelly baby inside like an ice cube. And your jelly baby would be magnesium nutrients, and then the ice cube would be your liposomes. And so when you swallow it, it effectively goes into your stomach acid, gets protected by that bubble, and then goes all the way down to your small intestine where it's going to get absorbed. And like the absorption rate in a liposome is crazy big, way bigger. Do you know what I mean? Like 10 times more effective. So superior absorption is something that I'm also really obsessed with, and innovating products. And that product in particular is made in a fantastic lab. I was blown away when I met these guys, absolutely blown away by them. The guy who is like the lead professor is he's a professor of nanomedicine. He's got 30 years experience. He actually makes targeted cancer delivery drugs. But when I was asking him about magnesium, I was like, could you do it for this? And he's like, yes. So this is like really credible, beautiful, amazingly elegant molecules that he's made in this magnesium. Because people always ask me, well, I take XYZ brand. How is this different? And I'm like, it's like comparing a Fiat Punto, no offense, to a Ferrari. You know, one, you're going to feel amazingly better with one and not so much with the other one. But what does magnesium do? Well, you need it in 300 processes in your body, probably more than that. We're not getting enough of it in our diet. It's incredible for your sleep, for stress resilience, for hormone regulation, muscle recovery. I don't know if anybody gets like jumpy legs or like eyes twitching, things like that. Magnesium's amazing for that. And I would definitely recommend, if you take nothing else from this chat today, nothing else, please take magnesium. And if I've done a good enough job today, you'll probably want to take ours. So yeah, if like I always say, like if your golden pill is your engine, your magnesium is the oil that you need in your engine too, and they would pair beautifully together. Before I ramble on any longer, has anybody got any questions? I'm hoping somebody has. Oh, hang on. Sorry. I'm seeing some webinar chat here. Hi, Jen. Jen from the Female Density Elsewhere. It's amazing. It really helped me. I highly recommend. Thank you very much. Yeah, but if you have any, I mean, I would urge you, because I don't like to give it the hard sell at all. And I know that's actually like kind of like I'm just rambling on here and talking about the product, but I always feel like go on Trustpilot, read what women say, read what they say about us as a business, about how it's helped their life. You can follow us on Instagram. You can see what we get up to day to day, and how and why we do things in the way that we do. I'm also kind of like bored of like the way products get marketed to women. And I'm a bit like, I'm sick of seeing like women on, when you type into like women of a certain age, like let's say 45-year-old woman on Google or menopausal woman on Google, she'll be like somebody who's like, holding her head in her hands and looking stressed and frazzled. And I am like, that is not half the women I know. They are badass. They're going to Oasis concerts. They are like living it up on a Saturday night. You know what I mean? Yeah, of course, we like our soft girl era as well. And we like our baths and chilling out and all the rest of it. But you're still rocking on. And I like to show that in our marketing, because I just absolutely think like I want to really commercialize this space so that women feel adopted by brands and not just like, I don't know, drinking a green juice and with a yoga mat. Okay, so we've had some questions here. I'm polycystic. Magnesium's helped with my pain amazingly. To be taken a few days though before period. Absolutely. Magnesium is brilliant for hormonal health. But yeah, what I would say is the best you can get is magnesium glycinate, and then get a liposomal form of it as well. And again, we've put P5P in there. It's even better. Is there anyone with any condition that isn't suitable? Would the advice be clear on each? Yeah, so there can be drug interactions like anything. If you're on blood thinners, I don't recommend it, like the golden pill. If you're pregnant or breastfeeding, absolute no. We don't recommend it. And again, we take it on a case by case basis. There are certain patients that are not suitable for magnesium. Yeah, there might be certain patients that aren't suitable for magnesium. In the whole time that we've been selling magnesium, we've had one lady who says she can't take it. She tried it and she said I can't remember why she couldn't take it. She said she was allergic to it or something. I was like, that's crazy, because it's really found in a lot of food. So, but yeah, some people might just not need it, or it might have too much of an effect on them. It might make them go the other way. So it's just trial and error, isn't it? Yeah, you wouldn't want to take, I think the NRV, and I could probably double check this for magnesium for women. Yeah, is 320 milligrams a day. So you don't want to, I don't know why you would want to go over that level, really. Anything, too much of a good thing is not a good thing. I say this all the time with multivitamins. One of my biggest bugbears is like greens drinks, because they're so low dose that that is a fairy dust like marketing exercise. It's virtually not going to do anything to you. And a lot of the things that they put in there like compete for absorption pathways. So I wouldn't spend it. I personally wouldn't spend any money on things like that. Let's have a look. Is there any more questions? Does anybody take supplements anyway? The other ones that, by the way, that I don't sell, but I personally would be taking, that I take, is omega-3. I use a great brand called Wiley's Peak EPA, and it says take 1 a day. I actually take 2 because I want the neurological benefits for it. So I take 2 a day of Wiley's Wild, I think it's called. Oh yeah, it's Wiley's Wild Alaskan Fish Oil, and it's called Peak EPA. You can get it on Amazon. It's really brilliant. I must have sold so much product for them. Is there a good vegan omega-3? Not really that I've found. You can get a good one from algae, but people always ask me this, like which brands I recommend, but I'll be looking for an algae-based one. I haven't come across a brand that I'm like sold on personally. What dose did you recommend? I suffer from migraines. Would you suggest a higher dose? If you suffer from migraines, there's an ingredient called Feverfew, spelt as it sounds, Feverfew. I would take 100 milligrams of that a day. Again, we don't sell it. I'm just giving you, like, that's on the migraine website as well. Whatever the charity is for migraines. But I know we have loads of customers who suffer with migraines. That really helps them. So Feverfew, I'm just writing this down so I can put it in the notes. Feverfew, 100 milligrams of that. And then magnesium, 300 milligrams a day is adequate, definitely. What's good for hot flushes? Well, things like maca, which is in the golden pill, is unbelievable for hot flushes. Really good. I've got a raised hand here. Sorry, I don't know how to work that. Also, anything else for good for hot flushes is reducing caffeine intake. Also, probably more of a phytoestrogenic diet, things like flax seeds, lots of legumes. Obviously, it goes without saying that before you start doing any supplementation, I would start on a foundational level of have you got a great diet, whole foods, you must be eating protein, and yeah, exercising and doing all the right things, reducing alcohol, reducing caffeine. Maca is in the no, maca is in the golden pill supplement. So magnesium is just magnesium. Maca is found in our golden pill supplement. And that's really good for hot flushes. Again, I don't like to give it the hard sell. If you want to go on Trustpilot, just type in hot flushes and see what people say. And honestly, there's people on there who goes, this is like got rid of my hot flushes. And by the way, I think it's important to note that you can take this with HRT as well. Everybody thinks I'm averse to HRT, and I don't know where that's come from because I'm absolutely not. I don't take it myself, but I don't feel like I need it just yet. But I would if I certainly thought I did, 1,000,000%. But also, there's a lot of things you can do nutritionally. Like HRT is not a magic bullet. You still have to change your lifestyle. Still have to be protein heavy diet, lifting heavy weights. Like I would always prioritize heavy weight training over like cardio. I love like socializing as well at the gym. So that's, if you love Zumba and stuff like that, brilliant. It's great for socialization and getting out there. What you really, really need to do, weight training on top, muscle density, bone density. I actually don't know how old all you ladies are on here. It'd be good to know. Any other questions? Well, you've got me. Is anyone taking HRT? Oh, the other thing I would mention as well, definitely within the months of October to March would be vitamin D. We are actually bringing out an amazing vitamin D that I've made with our professor. That's coming out probably next year. It's just the packaging that's holding this product up. But the formula is made and it's exceptional. And it's a spray, believe it or not. Because I think that's a really nice, easy, convenient way to take it. You can pop it in your handbag. But yeah, vitamin D is something that's really important. Again, it was actually, I don't know, wrongly classed as a vitamin. It's actually a steroid hormone. It's really, really important. You instantly feel better when you're in the sun. You should be getting some sunlight, definitely. Where's the best place to buy? Direct, definitely direct. We give you the best customer service on planet Earth, and yeah, it's the best. We also have a code. I'll probably put welcome 10 if anybody wants to use it. I've popped it there. Is HRT safe to take also testosterone? Well, that's up to like individual choice on HRT, and every individual is different. So that's something you would need to assess with, your own GP or practitioner. Everybody's different. Where are you in your stage of life? Are you just starting it? You don't know what dose you need to be on. You probably want body identical HRT, testosterone. I definitely think testosterone should be in there. It's only, it used to be off license, but I think they've just, I think as of 2 days ago, brought it in that they can actually prescribe it now, which was crazy because testosterone does more than a couple of things in a woman's body. It's responsible for like brain health, being in challenging situations, energy, muscle tissue, so many things. And if it was me, I would 100% have it in the mix. So if I was tomorrow said, I'm going to go on HRT, I would want the entire mix. Like, you can't just be taking loads of estrogen. You've got them all in your body. You need them. So why wouldn't you take it? The thing is with HRT, and it's one of those things that's just trial and error. There's so many different versions of it, isn't there? Like gels, sprays, creams, this, that, and the other. And it is just trial and error. And I did a podcast about this last week with an amazing doctor she's on Instagram, she's called My Menopause Medic. She's brilliant. I'm bastardizing all of her information here, but she says it much more eloquently than me. And yeah, I believe that testosterone 1000% has a place in a woman's, like, you know, hormonal protocol. I'm planning to start IVF at the end of the year. Can I take supplements up till then? You actually can, definitely. And we have a fertility expert called Liberty Mills who always recommends the golden pill for women who are starting kind of their journey, or they want to be more fertile, not just for them, but for their partners as well. And that's something that's really overlooked. Like, if you're going to have a IVF, and she's done an amazing book, and I'll give her a shout out right now. It's here, called 360 Fertility by Liberty Mills. She's brilliant. So if you are going to do IVF, it goes without saying you want to give yourself the very best chance. And even if that is a 1% chance more, of doing everything right that you can, and that is sorting out nutritional deficiencies and really cleaning up your environment. Like, get rid of those candles out of the house, stop putting all those toxic creams on your body. Think about the food that you're eating, think about the water that you're drinking, think about all your environment. Like Liberty she's like, get that bleach out the house, get this out, get that out. And yeah, and she said that it's amazing. She's somebody who at 43 had a baby naturally by cleaning up her environment. So I did a podcast with her. I've done 2 podcasts with her. One of them went absolutely viral. I think we got 10 million views on it. And it was just a brilliant chat. Really, really brilliant. So I'd go and listen to that. If you are in the podcast mood, then we have a podcast called the Elsa podcast, which you can find on all major platforms. Okay, I've got 2 questions here. Can you take the golden pill while breastfeeding? No, you can't. Just because the ingredients haven't been studied long enough for me to go yes or no. So I just say flat no, because I would never want to give anybody that advice. So wait until the boobs have retired, and then you can go on the golden pill. You can and should probably be taking magnesium though, and definitely omega-3, not only for you but for baby as well. I would urge you to look at the dosages for baby though. I know I gave my baby like omega-3, vitamin D, and some probiotics because she was a C-section baby. She was born by an emergency C-section, so I just thought, well, she needs to have more like bacteria and a good bacteria. So yeah. Any other questions, ladies? I really think you should be like live next time if we ever do this again, like, so I can see your faces and so I can see who I'm talking to. This is so difficult to try and I'm just talking to an empty room here in the office. Please could you recommend some good skin products for menopausal women? Yeah, totally get what you mean. Like, its skin's completely changes. So as estrogen declines, skin gets drier. All skin gets drier. Skin down there gets drier. So we really want to replenish that and hydrate it. And by the way, this is another interesting podcast that I did with a dentist. I don't know if you guys would know her. She's also an esthetician called Dr. Yusra. But she was saying anything that you can do to your face up here, you can do it down there as well. So if sex is becoming painful, you can have filler, and you can do more lubricating treatments down there. But one of the good things that you can do is I would go for vitamin E based products. And also, we're actually bringing out a new product, which is actually going to really help target this, but I'm not allowed to talk about it yet. And it's actually coming out in about 2 months. But we haven't had the full sign off and signed the contract on it. So that's something that's very exciting. And it's, again, been in R&D for about 3 years. It's a real innovative product and it's really disruptive. It's an internal product, it's a consumable, but I would go for like vitamin E based products and anything that's like hydrating and nourishing. So, kind of like hyaluronics, things like that would, yeah, would be great. Um, and then a lot of like dryness. So Tribulus, one of the other things that it does, and when I read this clinical data, when they're given Tribulus, which is one of the ingredients in the golden pill, one of the biggest things that came out of it was it had really helped with lubrication down there. And I think 83% of women said they felt a lot more lubricated. The other thing you could take for lubrication down there is something called sea buckthorn. I think it's omega 7. That's very good for like intimate dryness as well. Any dryness. So again, if you're feeling that decline, skin's getting drier, that's something you can add into the mix for sure. Are we all enjoying this chat? Or am I just rambling on, chatting rubbish? I don't know. Is there any other questions? I'm just going back through my notes, which I've made a lot of them, but a lot of them are just like irrelevant now. Yeah, I think we've touched on a lot of what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, anything else? Oh yeah, maca is super popular. It's a wonderful ingredient. Like honestly, even before I made the golden pill, I was taking maca constantly. I was making bliss balls out of maca. I was doing like maca in my smoothies. It was just an absolutely mega ingredient. I love it, and that's why it's one of our hero ingredients in the golden pill. Not only that, like I mean, I don't know how you feel about brands, but the way the brand looks. In fact, I'll just show you. I don't know if you've seen it, but one second. So packaging is an obsession of mine, which is why it's taken me so long to bring out a vitamin D, because I'm obsessing about the way it looks. But when I was making this brand, it was called Elle Sera, which means she will be in French. And I wanted it to be something like a ritual, something that's memorable, something that's, it's not just something that is in a plastic tub with purple flowers on that you shove in the back of the cupboard. Because the problem is, if you are inconsistent with taking your supplements, they're never going to work ever. And you go, well, that didn't work. And it was probably because you weren't taking it consistently and you loved it in the back of the cupboard and you did it for a couple of days one week and another couple of days another week, and then you got loads left and then it goes out of date and you never see it again. And that's what I was trying to overcome. So how could I make this like a daily ritual habit and something that was like meant you were part of the club? And that's why we created this golden decanter, which is the packaging that it comes in. And this is beautiful enough to sit right there next to your perfumes, your beautiful pictures of your family, your hairbrush, your makeup. Packaging is important. But not only that, it's like, an object of art that is sat there and reminds you every day, I'm taking this for me. This is mine. This is going to help me feel calm, more collected. And you know what? Like, if you've got kids, and I know I feel this. I've got 2 stepkids and my own daughter, and my mood sets the tone for the house. If I'm in a bad mood, everybody else is. I'm ratty and all the rest of it. And the mother, the matriarch, needs, that time. And let's be honest, we've got that invisible mental load. You still got to sort out what's for tea and do the washing and cooking and cleaning, and then you've got to work full time, and it's just absolutely crazy all the time. And when I think when I take things like this and supplements, I think this is, if nothing else gets done that day, this is my little bit of self-care, and that is so important. But I think it's so important to do things for yourself and try and take that time back, try and feel a bit calmer. I know I definitely need it. I know when I haven't had it, sometimes I can be in a Zoom meeting with a few people and I'm like, what? Going crazy. But yeah, any other questions before we wrap up, or have we got any others? To be honest, you can find me on Instagram and I pretty much answer everything that anybody sends to me. And if I don't know the answer, I can tell you now, I've had over 250 people on the podcast. I will know an expert that does know the answer and I can text them and say, what's the answer to this or whatever. So, I mean, a lot of people say, well, what can my husband take? And I give them a X, Y, Z of this is why they should be taking it and how much and what brands to buy. And that extends to everything, really. It's like, what other products do you take, Alyssa? Do you have this? Do you have this? It goes into skincare, hair care, everything, because I think people know I won't have it. I do my due diligence. And the other thing that everybody asks me about is children's supplements. So before we go, I'll just give this company again, no skin in the game, children's supplements. There is one company I recommend, and you have been making this supplement for ages. It's a multivitamin. So any for children +1. It's a multivitamin and it's a liposomal and it tastes really good because there's a lot of kids supplements out there that taste like rubbish. And by the way, please never, ever, ever buy a gummy supplement ever. Neither for you, your kids, your partner, no one ever. Do not waste your money on them. Gummies are for dummies. Okay, never buy them. Whatever they're putting in that gummy, like the material of a gummy is so porous, everything just evaporates out of it. So by the time it's hit the shelf in a supermarket or wherever you're buying it from, there's just nothing on it. There's just nothing in it. If it tastes good, it won't have any active ingredient in it. So that's that. So especially don't be giving it to your kids. It's a waste of time. You're just giving them a sweet. It's just Haribo with margins. That's all they are. So, but what I would recommend is a company. So I was giving it to my little girl for ages, and the branding was that bad. I was like, guys, you make the best product I've ever seen in my life. They have a hero ingredient in it called nucleotides, which I'm sure people have heard of polynucleotides. Yeah. So that's like helping like when you inject it into your face or whatever, it's salmon sperm, isn't it? Derived from, helps like the building blocks of DNA. Well, nucleotides is in this kid's supplement, along with loads of other great stuff like, your B-vits and vitamin C and all the rest of it. Brilliant multivitamin for kids. Give it to your kids +1. So the branding was so bad. I said, guys, I can't recommend this to anyone. It's that bad. Rebrand it. So they have done under my me being so pushy, because I used to telling everybody about it. So now it's called Happy Little Owls, and they also make a brilliant magnesium supplement. I'll write it down in the comments. Happy Little Owls. Let me just see if it's .co.uk. .com. There we go. Okay, so happylittleowls.com. So they're in a liposomal form, and they make a liposomal magnesium and a multivitamin, and I would 1,000,000% recommend on getting both those two. I think I have a code, or actually, do I? I don't know. I don't think I do have a code for that. I could try and get one, but they're priced correctly anyway, and they taste really good. They're brilliant. Now everybody says, there's another company out there that makes liposomal products for kids, and after what I know about that company and the way it's run and what they put in the ingredients in that business and do not declare it, I would never recommend them. I can't name them for legal reasons, but that, I'll just tell you one thing only, that is the only company I would ever recommend for kids supplements after knowing what I know about some of the others. So it doesn't matter what you see on the market, I'm not recommending them. I know what's in that. I know where it's produced. I can look at those people in the eye. I give it to my children myself. So that's the one I would back. In fact, I would back it so much that I feel like invested in the business. So if that's not a glowing report, I don't know what is. Yeah, so the codes for Elsa are, if you want to purchase, are welcome 10, and that should work off both magnesium, and your golden pill. And then your Happy Little Owls one, I actually haven't got a code for that. I used to, but it ran out ages ago. But yeah, but they're priced nicely anyway. So, and I think your kids will love them. And if they don't, which is shocking if it didn't, but you can like it because it's a liquid, you can put it like in yogurt or I don't know, one of their foods. So, so yeah, that's the biggest one. People always ask me, kids, and I'm happy to support another business that's doing great work. All I want to see is this industry get regulated more and do great work. That's it. They're doing things above board. There's one that I saw the other day, and their ads were going on about this is an autism mum's favorite supplement, and I was like, that is absolutely outrageous. You were implying that that is going to almost fix autism. Like that's what they were implying. It is absolutely horrendous. And I'm somebody who's really passionate about this, and I only like to work with businesses who are toeing the line as much as I am. So yeah, they are my top picks, guys. Sorry, just going back to the golden pill, I missed that. Is it okay for menopause? Yeah, it's absolutely amazing for the menopausal lady. It's incredible. We've got tribulus in there, great for sex drive, great for muscle tissue, great for vitality and energy. We've got maca in there, which is again great for libido, hormonal regulation, energy production, incredible. Siberian ginseng gives you that energy without the crash. Beetroot vasodilator, helps nitric oxide get around the body, incredible. And then last but not least is ginkgo, which is brilliant for brain fog, mental clarity, focus. You know, like you have a crazy day in clinic, that's the one that's going to pull you through. All that blended together with no additives, no fillers, and in a beautiful golden capsule that is dyed with an active ingredient of B2 is an absolute monster of a female health supplement. It's brilliant, if I do say so myself. Any other questions before we finish for the night? Thanks for coming online, guys. I've appreciated it. It was really nice to do. Next time we should do it in person and definitely have some interaction. I like it when people shout out questions. That's why I like doing in-person events all the time, because you get so much more out of them. And plus it's just fun to do. But yeah, if you're around the Northwest, we're running an event at Christmas, which will be a showstopper. It's Christmas lunch. It'll be amazing. So if you're around, we haven't put the tickets out yet, but when we do, you should jump on it. It's in my partner owns restaurants, and it's in his restaurant. It's beautiful. It's called Penelope's in Birkdale, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, you should all try and come to that. Yeah, teen supplements. Definitely recommend. Again, a boy or girl totally need different things. Definitely a multivitamin. The one I recommend, the Happy Little Owls one. They just need a slightly bigger dosage. That's all. And a magnesium would be brilliant. If it's girls, yeah, I get magnesium critical, especially when they're going through their hormonal issues. Omega-3, 1000% omega-3 for teenagers. For anyone on this call, actually, pregnant, breastfeeding, like yourself, like omega-3, definitely. There's a really good podcast, actually. In fact, I'll just put it in here if you want to listen while you're going to bed. I wonder if I could do it. Where is it? This was from the BBC. I was just driving along one day, listening to Radio 4, and heard this on the radio. So I'm just driving along. And I thought, wow, this is absolutely incredible. Validates everything I say about vitamin D and omega-3. And I send this to everyone who wants to know a bit more about it. It's not very long. It's about 25 minutes long. I wonder if my computer will let me. Yeah, there you go. Grab that, download it. Do Happy Little Owls do teen supplements? It's the same supplement, you just give them a slightly bigger dosage. So what if it would be like 5 mils for like your 1-year-old or your 6-year-old, then you'd give them like a 10 mil dosage for it if they're older. But again, reach out to the company as well. They'll give you some great advice. They also sell their spin-off brand also sells other supplements as well. So like they don't do any omega-3 though, but they sell like glutathione and things like that. Yeah, the podcast on BBC 4 is there. I've just put the link in. Download that. Really good. Yeah, brilliant. About omega-3. And the brand I recommend is Wiley's. Should really hook up with Wiley's a bit more because Christ, they should be sending me free products. All I do is recommend them. Wiley's Wild Alaskan. That's what Alaskan. Alaskan fish oil. Peak EPA and DHA. And you want to take 2 of them a day. I take 2 anyway, which is like 2,000 milligrams. It'll say 1 on the back of the packet, but I take 2. That is a great supplement protocol, by the way. If you did your fish oil, a vitamin D, when mine comes out, please buy that one. It'll be insanely good, promise. Because I wouldn't even bother wasting my time if it wasn't going to be innovative and better than anybody else's on the market, or at least bloody strong second, Christ. But I would definitely be going for number 1 spot. Why would I bother? You know, we're a small brand. I haven't got deep pockets, but what I have got is innovative people around me and incredible scientists knocking around that I've got access to, and I really lean on them to do all our R&D so I can bring the very best products to the market. And I talk about this a lot. I said women do not have the same disposable income as men. We have the gender pay gap, we have the maternity pay gap, where, you know, male counterparts can carry on climbing the ladder and we cannot. And it's something that I'm like, plus I know it myself. I'm the one who buys the food in the house. I'm the one who pays more bills than anybody else, and I always get less money than anybody else in the household. So I've got less money to spend on myself as well. And also, we also feel like we're the ones who worry about things. You buy the presents for, you know, your kids' parties, and you're the one buying the Christmas presents. All those things all add up all the time to having less disposable income over time. We don't do any investing, which I'm something I'm really passionate about. Should be. That's including in your own health, investing in your own health in products that are actually going to make a difference, and they're not just fairy dust rubbish with great marketing. Hope I've made my feelings clear. But yeah, any other questions? We've hit 8 o'clock. So yeah, if nobody's got anything else, I think that's a nice place to wrap up.
Hi, Lisa. This is Cesar. Well, thank you for your time today. It's been really interesting. So I think we can finish now the session.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming today as well.
Thank you very much. See you later. Bye. Bye-bye.